Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Purdue Exponents official podcast, The Root, where we get to the root of the issue. I'm once again no longer joined by Quint because he quit. This will be the last time we talk about him. But I am joined by fellow Exponent employee Duncan Ways. Duncan, introduce
Hey,
yourself.
hi, I'm Duncan Ways. Right now at the Exponent, I've worked there for 3 semesters, and I'm currently a page designer, a campus reporter, an opinions writer, and a Rivet reporter.
Look at
Yeah.
that.
Wow.
That's a lot of duties.
Yeah. Well, I was the campus editor
You
last
were.
semester, so I'm used to a lot of duties on the Exponent.
Very funny.
Yeah.
What's not funny is some of the topics we're going to talk about today. I know last week's episode was a little heavy. We're going to not try to get very heavy on this one, but obviously it's been a pretty crazy week, a lot of crazy news stories. But I don't want anyone to be surprised when we move on from the serious stories and go back to talking casually. That's always been the point of this podcast, is that it's for students, by students, and I'm giving you the news how I think we all want to hear it. So we're going to talk about something serious and then transition to something less serious. Again, I don't want this to startle anyone. I'm taking all of this seriously, despite the fact. But yeah, Duncan, does that make sense?
No, yeah, that absolutely
Perfect.
makes
All right,
sense.
we'll get some of the more chill news out of the way. I think
Absolutely.
the biggest thing was, or just a lighthearted thing, is Ray Gun is going to be
Raygun.
coming to campus
Yeah,
on Thursday, which these come out on Friday, so it would have already happened.
that's super exciting.
Which is fun. It didn't click at first that was the Australian breakdancer.
Yeah, I
Who
I thought they were a YouTuber. I'm gonna be honest. When I first heard
they
them,
might
are they?
be
They
still. It doesn't really talk about that. It just talks about the Olympics, and I feel bad they kind of got made fun of for an objectively goofy dance.
yeah, like, it's a
It was
goofy
goofy,
dance.
but I couldn't have done it,
I couldn't have.
so I'm not gonna say anything. I couldn't do those crazy things. And they're also gonna be changing up Croc Lawn, Croc or
Yeah.
Crotch.
Uh,
Crotch is weird.
I say crotch. I know it's
It's a
croc.
habit. No, I used to say it too.
Yeah.
But like, you just got to catch yourself, because like, why on earth would it be
Why would it
crotch?
be crotch?
But
No. They're changing it because of like a desire path being established. You know how it all gets muddied in
it
the middle
does.
of Croc Lawn because everybody's tracking through there. Everybody's going from like the north side closer to like Windsor. And
Yeah,
they're trying to get to Wiley Dining Court, so it's right there.
it kind of stinks because the whole point was that it was a lawn for like activities.
I really like that it was
Yeah,
really because you have Memorial Mall, which does have those obstructions of the walkways through, and there's a bunch of them for the
yeah,
desired paths. I just wish Croc Lawn was just like
yeah.
left alone.
Which I think ultimately it'll be good, so like it
Yeah.
doesn't get muddy and all tracked up. But we are gonna miss, pure lawn.
During winter though, it got deadly because it would like ice
Yeah,
up over there, and it's just like
and just all the mud. It gets very slippery.
no, absolutely, it's safer. It's safer.
Yeah, and then you also want to talk about this crime incident.
Yeah, so I wrote the PCA for this edition. PCA stands for probable cause affidavit. And it's something, a court document essentially, that prosecutors give to local news outlets, saying, hey, we're formally charging this person with a crime. But in this case, I got a sentencing email. So this person, he was part of a biker gang, a local biker gang in Lafayette, and he was charged with shooting at some people. And I believe the police believe it was a part of a gang hit because the other person that he was shooting at was part of a rival gang, and he got 50 years after pleading guilty. He got 50 years in jail. Yeah, I don't know if I call that excessive, but
It's just unexpected, I guess, an
it,
unexpected sentencing.
I've seen a lot of sentencings and PCAs go through our newsroom, but 50 years for he was endangering a lot of people. I
Yeah,
mean, some of the bullets that he fired, none of them luckily hit anybody, but some caused damage to local houses. I know there was somebody who was like out for the weekend, and then when they came back, they noticed like, oh my gosh, there's bullet holes in my
Wow.
house. Yeah. So
Yeah. But I'm sure there's details that we maybe don't know, but it is still an interesting
no,
sentencing.
absolutely. It's super interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Now to move on to the touchy stuff. Again, fair warning. But we definitely have to talk about it because it is an opinion piece that I wrote myself, with a little reluctance because, of course, last Wednesday, two tragedies occurred kind of at the same time. There was a shooting at Evergreen High School in Colorado, and basically simultaneously, conservative sort of political commentator Charlie Kirk was assassinated while speaking at a college in Utah. Do you remember the
I believe it was Utah Valley
Utah Valley
University.
University? Yeah, and so that was a very big event on the news, obviously, and it still is. Currently, they've got a guy in custody who they're pretty confident
Yeah.
is the person who pulled the trigger and all of that.
Yeah, 22-year-old, right?
Yeah, I believe
Something.
Tyler Robinson. I
I
believe.
I believe that's his name.
Yeah, so it's all wild. But when it happened, internet exploded. A bunch of mixed reactions. Nobody really knew how to process it because it was so quick. And in today's day and age, we jump to joking a lot, which
Yeah.
I think we'll talk about a little later.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was just a lot for me personally to wrap my head around because I'm online like a lot of people, and I've
Yeah.
watched a lot of political commentators on both the right and left because
Yeah.
I'm decently politically engaged. I'll let it be known, and I write this in the column. I was not a very big fan of Charlie Kirk at all. I disagreed on almost everything he said. Uh, but it's just brutal, and yeah, I watched the video not on purpose. It was on somebody's Snapchat story, and it was rough. And regardless of what you think of him, I just think it was just brutal, and that's something I hope we can all agree on, that it's just
Absolutely. This type of political violence, I mean, the Democrat congresswoman who was shot down in earlier this year. I
yeah,
don't remember when, I believe summerish. And she was assassinated. This type of political assassinations. I don't know. I don't feel like I've experienced it in America before. Like, or maybe I just haven't been tuned in.
yeah.
Um,
It's a very recent sort of like a spike in political violence because I believe Nancy Pelosi's husband, right, was
yes.
attacked
Yeah, absolutely.
also.
I personally think part of it to blame is the increase in political polarization. And I think if you've read CJ's column, wonderful column that he put in the Monday edition of the paper, he does an excellent job, I think CJ does, of talking about political polarization without ever really saying. I don't think you ever say political
I do
polarization.
not.
I think that's just speaking to your writing skills, but I think political polarization has become such a big issue in this country. I
Yeah.
mean, Pew Research Center. I did a little research before this.
Well, very good.
The Pew Research Center published a study in 2014, so that's over 10 years ago,
Yeah, wow.
about how political polarization has changed since like 1994. And it's clear they have like markers from 1994, from 2004, and then from 2014. It's very clear that both sides are diverging.
Yeah.
The left is becoming more left, and the right is becoming more right, and there's less common ground, it seems, in America.
Yeah. Thank you for your compliments. Yeah. So I ended up writing a column trying to synthesize my thoughts that I've been thinking of for so long, and I think that the root of this issue, no pun intended, is just that we are very polarized. We are very much tearing each other down politically, and like no common ground is found, and it's not even a solution that is being promoted by either side, in my opinion. And I believe that a big reason that this change came about is because of Donald Trump. Again, I'm no psychologist or political scientist, but even as a kid, I heard adults and people, the news, treating this guy differently than they've treated politicians in the past.
He acted differently.
And he acted differently. It was very much trash talking opponents. It was very much telling people what they wanted to hear, telling the right what they wanted to hear. And I think that just really bolstered him up.
It wasn't the right. He appealed to both like the millionaires, the 1%, and he also appealed to like the modern like working class.
Yeah,
You know,
traditional American values,
yeah,
people that hold that close. Problems that maybe people didn't even know were problems.
yeah,
Problems that might not even be problems.
yeah, or problems that people felt politicians weren't touching. You know,
Yeah.
so
And so that really, I call it like a paradigm shift where it became not here's what I can do for you. It's here's why these people are wrong.
yeah,
And you should disagree with them and you should honestly hate them. Whether they explicitly said it or not, it's been a verbal attack ever since from both sides. And, both sides. And that has extended from politicians to, influencers, political commentators like Charlie Kirk to just normal people like
yeah,
me and you that, just become polarized with people that we called friends, people that we call family. Um, I watched, if you anybody's aware of Channel 5 with Andrew Callahan, he's an independent journalist on YouTube. And he actually interviewed the guy that was debating Charlie Kirk
Reese
moments before he
Withers.
was killed.
Oh, oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. And he briefly mentioned that, it's really common to just kind of like drop family members or not associate with family members the second they start sharing opposing views. And it's tough because we hold these views strongly to ourselves. But in the past, you'd debate, you'd argue over dinner, you'd argue over Thanksgiving, but you'd still have that connection. And it feels like that polarization just becomes more powerful than any human connection that we have, that we just start pushing people away.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like when your friends or family asked who you were voting for in like 2024, it was very, very touchy. It felt like walking on eggshells if you didn't necessarily vote with who you think everybody else voted with, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and that's a shame.
Yeah.
I would also like to add, I recently saw like a clip, a short of Charlie Kirk, and somebody asked him why he was doing what he did, and he explained that there was a need for more political discourse in this country, and that without political discourse, our country would just treat this other side as like evil or enemies without ever knowing their point, their side, seeing them as humans, seeing them as Americans. And I think that's a great point, but I also think there's a need for constructive discussion, not just discussion.
Yes. And that's a good point because unfortunately, I believe Charlie Kirk, and again, commentators on both sides use this to their advantage. And I mean, as commendable as it is for Charlie Kirk to set up these debates and engage the public, as I mentioned in the article, it's a clip show. It's a clip show
Yep.
that he takes the people that have embarrassed themselves the most and turns those into YouTube shorts and clips so he can gain a following and push his agenda and just make the other side look like idiots. And I agree to everything he said. How much he meant it is not my room to say, but it felt disingenuous. And again, it feels disingenuous on both sides. I mentioned to you about Sam Cedar. He's a debater that I left leaning, very left leaning, that
Yeah.
I respect and appreciate, and I tune in. But he also, again, it's a lot of finger pointing, a lot of look at what the right's doing wrong, blah blah blah, and not actual genuine debate. Not hear me out, let's hear you out. What can we do to solve this?
No solutions. It's
Yeah,
just my way or the highway. There's
exactly.
no compromise anymore. There's no bipartisan compromise. It's a shame. It takes a tragedy, really. Like that's the last time we saw like a great bipartisan like push for legislation is when there's a tragedy that happens.
Yeah, and I mean, it just stinks that it comes to stuff like that. Like the big stuff for us to agree, when really we don't have to be as against each other as we are. It's just that, the people with influence, the people with power, push an agenda instead of try to hear people out. And it just stinks because it leads to stuff like what happened with Charlie Kirk. Again, I don't think he should have been killed,
No.
uh, on a college campus. I mean, gun violence. I mean, it's a loaded subject, but it's just wrong. And it was horrible to see, horrible that it happened. But given the political climate we live in, it's not surprising that someone would be pushed to those lengths, pushed to the length of doing something like that. As we've talked about, it's not the first time political violence has occurred in the past year.
No, absolutely. And I mean, political violence, America has a long history with
Yeah.
political violence, with very famous assassinations of our presidents and other public officials. But it's it's just a shame that there's been, I wouldn't call it a resurgence, but it seems like there's been an increase of political violence within the past couple years, you know?
Yeah. And I guess it's partly due to the topics becoming much more like personal. I mean, when you talk about immigration, trans rights, you know,
Abortion.
abortion, these are things people feel really strongly about that affect people's livelihoods.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a part of the polarization too, is just that, this it's life or death for some people. It's an extreme way of life shift for everyone if you start deporting people, mass deportations, if you ban abortions, like these are things that really mess up or change the culture in ways that people are personally, physically affected by. And so again, people feel strongly about this, and some reasons rightly so, but there still needs to be room for understanding regardless of the issue. Because if you know you're right, if you're confident that you're right, you will have no problem doing what you can to spread those facts. And if you actually care about being proven wrong or engaging in political discourse, which is something that we proudly do in this country with the freedom of speech, you will listen and you will not degrade and you will not attack and you will listen because we're all humans. And I say that we're all humans and we ultimately want the same thing whether we know it or not. And I just think the more that people can be less afraid to be heard, listened to and heard, the more they'll be honest.
I agree. I also think a major part of what has caused the political discourse to quiet down, I don't know. There's not as much as, that's not right. I just think that there's been a lot of misinformation and
Yeah.
disinformation, and that causes it to be a debate not of like ideas of like, oh, I think to attack this problem we should do this way versus this way. Instead, it's more like, these are my facts that I'm working with and debating you about, and these are your facts, and they're totally separate. And
Yeah.
that just causes so much like issues
Yeah.
with people not seeing eye to eye, you know?
Because there's a lot of agenda pushing, which is something I didn't even think of. Like, yeah, just like straight up misinformation, straight up lies, and people, in echo chambers being fed nonsense.
Yep.
And again, I still do think honesty and honest debates can show people the light. But again, that's something that we have to agree to do. This isn't something that the government's going to mandate. This is a cultural shift that needs to happen. This is something that we need to do with each other. It starts with us just being kind. And again, it seems wrong because again, some of these issues are important to people, and it can be hard to look at your opponent as a human. But I just find that when you do that, the stakes lower and you can like truly listen and truly find common ground. If you're willing to listen and willing to be honest and like get rid of any agenda pushing, get rid of any sort of misinformation. But it's something we have to do. It starts with debating family and friends, holding these political commentators, you know, accountable, making sure that they live up to the standards.
Surrounding yourself with other political ideas that are foreign to you, you know?
Yeah,
So you're not building up those echo chambers. If you're just hearing what you want to hear, you're just going to keep spouting the same thing and not
exactly.
learning. You know, as humans, we all want to learn, and we want what's best for us and the the country and the world.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a pretty tough subject, but and I didn't even want to write about it nor talk about it on the podcast, but I just feel like I have a platform and I'm gonna just share my opinions. And it's risky. I mean, people, like we talk about, get pretty passionate when they hear something they don't agree with. I do too. I mean, I'm gonna act here and say like I haven't felt like immense anger at people that disagree with me. Uh,
It's human.
yeah, because I believe really strongly in issues, and I just feel like again, more acceptance, more listening, it is the least we can do, and then from there, keep going to build a world where we don't have to live in fear about what we think. Even if what we think is wrong, we should know that the truth will find its way to us and let it in.
Absolutely. Being open minded is a huge thing that I think people have lost over the years.
Yeah. Is there anything else you wanted to add on the subject?
No, I would recommend you guys look at the Pew Research Center.
Yeah.
Their 2014 data on political polarization is like really profound, So check that out.
Interesting. I'm glad you did research. So yeah, I think we're going to move on now.
Yeah.
I think that was a good discussion, but we have a platform, and if you disagree, please civilly tell us something in the comments, and we will listen.
Send an email.
Send an
please.
email, and we are actually trying to respond to comments and questions, and soon like engage with the audience a lot better. Because
Yeah.
I'd be a fool not to practice what I preach. So, if you have thoughts, please share them. We'll address them. That's what we do here.
We
Yeah.
want to discuss open minded. Yeah.
That's what we do here. Yeah. So we're gonna move on. Gonna be a tonal shift. That's just life. So I mentioned to Duncan that I wanted to talk more about music now, but I do first. Today, this morning, Robert Redford passed away at the age of 89. Legendary actor. You're looking at me like you don't know who Robert Redford is, and that's crazy because you're a movie guy.
I do like my movies. What was he in?
Oh my goodness.
I'm so sorry.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
I've been meaning to see that. It has Knocking on Heaven's Door.
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven. Oh, music. Perfect segue. Yeah. Creator of the Sundance Film Festival, Duncan. Robert Redford, yes.
That's sick.
A huge collaborator with Sidney Pollack, who I wrote about, who was born in Lafayette. I wrote about him over the summer. They collaborated a whole bunch. Yeah, just really cool. Like, you should watch some of his movies. He's very diverse, very much an everyman. He can be a mean guy. He can be a nice guy. He can be aloof. He can be confident.
Right.
He just had a really nice range and a real strive. I'm told he was very down to earth. So it just sucks. He was a real legend, a real Hollywood legend. Now, go watch Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. He's in Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
He was? Which?
He's Secretary Pierce. Spoiler alert.
I totally know.
He's the bad guy.
I totally know him.
And I'm not even lying. Even as a kid, like, his particular performance is like leagues above everybody else. That's a great movie.
Yeah.
But I just feel like he's really like, he's got that smugness.
No, absolutely. He got it down, really.
Yeah. So rest in peace, Robert Redford. But knocking on heaven's door.
Bob.
Wait, no, that's not Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
That's
Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid.
You're so right. That's Pat Garrett and
We
Billy
talked
the
about
Kid.
this.
Yeah, we
because
did.
it's blank and blank the kid.
Yeah.
Or in blank kid.
Very
And they're both
similar.
westerns.
No, exactly.
Easy to confuse.
But Bob Dylan.
I'm glad we corrected ourselves. But yes, Bob Dylan, his most commercial song, I think, and because it's different. I mean, it's the only one that my friends really know about.
Yeah, that's fair. It's definitely one of his biggest commercial successes. I'm a big Bob Dylan fan.
I know. Duncan
Oh,
Ways is a big Bob Dylan fan.
You and everybody in the office.
Yeah.
The day that Bob Dylan came
yeah.
to campus, I went to his concert, but that day I had my reporters. I give them a question every day, and the question of the day was, "What's your favorite Bob Dylan song?" And it was interesting to see how many people did not know who Bob Dylan was, which is fair.
What is your favorite Bob Dylan song?
That's a great question. I think Mr. Tambourine Man is just a classic.
It is really good.
It's so inventive, and like I remember, I think it was Edward Norton was on a Late Show with somebody, and he was like, AI can't write Mr. Tambourine Man.
No. I mean, not that long ago, Bob Dylan said that he couldn't write Mr. Tambourine Man now.
He did say that.
But that's really cool. I think I like the times they are a-changin'. Just because I've known that song even before I was really familiar with Bob Dylan.
Mm-hmm.
Good song.
It's a great song. It's a great protest song.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting. It's very applicable to like any time in history.
Folk music, very much rooted in like
past?
the working class, anti-authoritarianism. Like Pete Seeger and Woody Guthrie.
Yeah.
Who were like Bob Dylan's idols and like mentors. Big like working class guys. Do you know oh my god, Which side are you on? Which side are... It's a very good song.
I
Very
don't
pro-union song.
I don't know that one.
It's pretty
No.
good.
That's awesome. I should give it a listen.
But yeah, love music. Love Bob Dylan.
Yeah. Love folk. Folk's
Folk
just a
music
great
is
genre.
really good, and I'm glad that I got into it because of the great movie Inside Llewyn Davis. Great movie by the
Inside
Coen
Llewyn.
brothers,
Awesome.
starring Oscar Isaac. Really much a love letter to the folk scene of like the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
But Pink Floyd,
Pink
abrupt
Floyd.
transition, I don't
Abrupt
care.
transition.
I love Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd's great. I was just listening to I Wish You Were Here for the first time. Oh, and I
For the
loved
first
for the
time.
first time I was listening to that like whole album. I loved
Oh, the whole album.
Welcome to the Machine.
Welcome to the... That's just a great album. Welcome to the Machine. Have a Cigar.
Have a Cigar is great.
Shine On You Crazy Diamond. Who, my friend, he skips the instrumental parts just to get to the part
What?
where they're actually singing. I think that's like goes against everything Pink Floyd stands.
Absolutely. Pink Floyd is so instrumental and so atmospheric. I feel like it's such a disservice to them. If you want to listen to lyrics, listen to pop. Listen to something else, not Pink Floyd.
But especially because that album, Wish You Were Here, the song Wish You Were Here and Shine On You Crazy Diamond, is dedicated to their former singer.
I read that somewhere.
Ooh, I'm gonna look up their name. So Duncan, you gotta talk. I can't type and talk
No,
at the same time.
Yeah, I really got into Pink Floyd with Dark Side of the Moon. It's one of the most famous albums in music history, and I had to listen to it and see what it was all about. And the first couple listens, I didn't really like it because I wasn't that much into atmospheric music at the time. But I think as I've gotten more into college, I've grown to love those sort of like atmospheric or background type music. Um, I love the orchestral parts of Dark Side of the Moon and Welcome to the Machine, but just such inventive concepts I think Pink Floyd accomplishes in each of its very distinct albums.
Yeah, very much a proponent in psych rock. Wish You Were Here for Sid Barrett or Garrett. I just looked it up. Sid. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna get fired. Sid Barrett, who was their former lead singer, part of the band, who they would have falling outs with because he was, falling in and out of addiction and stuff, and he passed away. And obviously, the group, they're very close at a time, and he left a big impact. It's just a really good album, and they make really good music. Even their early stuff, very
Holds up.
much just doing whatever with sounds, and I like that. Like, A Saucer Full of Secrets is like their first album, I think, commercial, and they're just like they're playing kazoos and like tambourines and like making a lot of funky noises.
Whimsy.
Very much whimsical, and I like that because it's like sometimes they're haunting, but sometimes they're like, whoa, like Dark Side of the Moon. I'd say not a very happy album.
Not a very happy album. Very like cautionary tale, foreboding. Even like the bigger moments on the album are still, it feels pained almost, like Great Gig in the Sky.
Yeah,
Big moment in the album, and it's just like a woman singing, but it's nearly screaming
Yeah.
almost. And I love how it sort of like borders the two and how close they are. It felt almost very nearly heavy metal to me, because
Yeah.
heavy metal makes use of the screaming vocals. But yeah, recently though, and this is why I wanted to bring it up. Recently, they've changed all their like album covers
Mm-hmm.
on like Spotify and Apple Music. It's weird because it only works halfway for Apple Music. Like some of them
Really?
have the like on Dark Side of the Moon, it like comes up regular, but some of the songs doesn't.
Mm.
And what instead you see is sort of like almost I would call an AI prompt
Yeah.
for what the album cover is. So Dark Side of the Moon would be like a prism with one white light coming out one side and then the refraction coming out the other.
Yeah. Which I wonder. I know it's for the 50th anniversary of Wish You Were Here. I haven't really looked up too much to see like what exactly is the theme behind.
I've tried to look it up. Some people theorize, it's just because it's a promotion of Wish You Were Here. And to be fair, I did listen to Wish You Were Here. Because
Yeah, it
of
worked.
It worked. I was like, what's going on with Dark Side of the Moon? And then I listened to Wish You Were Here, loved it. But a lot of people are saying it's like a stance against AI.
Mhm.
It's showing how they have some of the most original cover art, I would say, in the music business. Very, very powerful, very popular stuff. And like how that could be just sort of brought down to a sentence, an AI prompt, and you would get something similar.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess like Dark Side of the Moon, everybody had a T-shirt of it,
Yeah.
even if they didn't listen to it. Like as a kid, so many people had that.
I saw somebody today walk by
Yeah,
me with it on. Yeah.
Wish You Were Here, like the Dude on Fire,
Dude on
Shaking
Fire.
Hands. Even one of their later albums, the two like stone faces looking
Oh,
at each
yeah, yeah,
other.
yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the album name, but like you see that
Yeah.
in a lot of places. It's just very unique. Good band, good music.
No, Pink Floyd's awesome. I highly recommend you listen to them. And give it a couple listens, because you might be like, not for me.
Yeah,
But give it a couple listens. Let's see if you enjoy.
I love streaming music because I'm very vibe oriented.
Mm.
But a part of me does wish that we brought back like vinyls and being like, this is my vinyl collection, and we listen to albums more. I'm so bad at listening to albums, like very bad.
I know so many people of our generation are so bad at listening to albums. I love listening to albums, just like
I knew you were
the
son of a gun.
the cover to cover. I love listening to albums. And I think it's not purely, but mainly because of streaming. Because
Yeah,
with physical media, it promotes you just listening to the entire album, because that's all you get with buying that one CD or vinyl. For my father's and sister's birthdays, most recent ones, I each got them a CD, because I know we have like CD players back home. CDs of some of their like favorite artists. So like my sister loves Toby Keith, and I found the tiniest CD section in Walmart, and they happened to sell Toby Keith. And my dad loves the band Chicago. Are you familiar with Chicago?
I am familiar.
Love Chicago.
The city and the band.
The city and the band, bro. Me and CJ wrote with Avery.
And Avery Goldthorpe.
Avery Goldthorpe, our wonderful managing and city editor. We all wrote this wonderful piece about how Chicago's the best city in the world.
It is.
It is.
And the blues, I mean, the electric blues of Chicago, such an integral part of the music scene, which would lead to rock and roll, which would lead to music now.
Absolutely.
Just throwing that out there. But I kind of wish that we could have like a Walkman. Like I wish, because
Yeah.
if it's an artist I really like, I will listen to an album start to fit like a new one. But
Yeah.
after that, I just start picking out the songs that I really liked. And I hate that. I hate that I do that. I hate that so many songs just get stuck in my head that I just want to listen to those ones. But it's because you have the option. Like you start listening to an album, you're like, oh wait, I could listen to anything else right now.
Yeah.
So then you do.
Yeah.
But if you just had the album, which even in like the iPod days, you had to buy the music.
With iTunes. I was born off of iTunes. I did a bunch of iTunes stuff, and
I
then my
see.
family got like streaming really, really late. So I'm still very used to iTunes, and that sort of like you're buying what you want to listen to, so you got to make sure you really like this band or you really like this artist. Yeah. With what you were talking about with stuff getting stuck in your head, I remember over the summer we were both on summer staff together, me and CJ. You talked about Sabrina Carpenter a little bit.
I did. I have thoughts on Sabrina Carpenter.
Yeah.
I'm not going to share
Gotcha.
them.
No, absolutely, absolutely. But I think it's really interesting how streaming has really changed the face of music, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, from album to...
But speaking of getting songs stuck in our heads, we listened to 505 by the Arctic Monkeys and American Pie by Don McLean
Don McLean.
every day.
Every day for summer staff. And we listened to We Are the World.
Great song.
Great song.
God, life changing.
Yeah.
That song gives me chills.
Have you've seen
Yes.
the Netflix
The
special?
Greatest Night in Pop, the documentary about it.
Highly recommend.
Very good if you like
It's 90 minutes.
transcendental experiences.
No, it's great.
I mean, could you imagine? Again, it doesn't mean anything now because of the internet. Like artists kind of meet up all the time.
Yeah.
But to be a fan of music and just see like Michael Jackson, Lionel Richie, Kenny Rogers,
Huey Lewis,
Huey Lewis, Hall & Oates,
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder, Billy Joel, no, she wasn't. Was Tina Turner there? I don't even remember.
I
I'm
don't
just
remember if
making
she was there.
stuff up.
Yeah, no.
Cyndi Lauper. I mean,
Yeah.
all these people
Joined together for one song. That's
for one
crazy.
song.
Even nowadays, that's crazy collaboration. I mean, there is more collaboration, but normally it's between 2-3 artists. That was like, I don't even know how many, and it was all from they were leaving from the Grammys, right?
Yes, it was right after the Grammys. They kept it very secret. They didn't want people to know what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of cobbled together. But everybody had like a good spirit. Except for that one guy that walked out.
Yeah, that one.
There was a guy that just left.
Yeah.
I don't like him.
Well,
I don't even know his name. So there goes how popular he ended up being. Sorry if he's like alive and actually really nice.
Who knows?
But it upset me.
But yeah, no, that's a great special. That's a great song. For a great cause. Too.
Yeah. Like actually.
No, yeah.
Like it was actually for a thing that was good. Can you imagine doing a thing that's good just for the sake of it being good?
Because it was the artist made no profit.
No,
all the profits were donated to Hunger for Africa. I forget what the
yeah, there are people dying. To quote the song, it was USA for Africa. Yeah, there was like a big famine or something going on at the time. It was Harry Belafonte of Daylight Come, very big calypso artist. He got together with like Lionel Richie and Michael Jackson. He's like, we should do this, and they're like, I think that we should do this. And just the fact that they got so many people, the fact that they got Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, Bob Dylan. There's a scene where Bob Dylan is like struggling to sing. Bob Dylan, well into his career at this point. It's the 80s. Was it the 70s?
I thought.
Because I mean, like Michael Jackson, that's like
yeah, that could be the 80s.
I think it might be early 80s.
Yeah,
but I mean, like very much 80s artists. I mean, but I mean, still Bob Dylan well into his career, struggling to sing because he has a very different style. These are mostly pop artists.
How do you feel?
Yeah, and so he's struggling to sing. And he's like, Stevie, why don't you play it? And like, Stevie Wonder's playing piano for Bob Dylan. And
Stevie Wonder like sings like Bob Dylan sings.
And Bob Dylan's like, oh yeah, I'm Bob Dylan. And then he just sings like Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
But it's so awesome. I think it's a good way to cap things off here because, like I said, it's just a good thing to do for a good reason.
No, absolutely.
Artists that didn't know each other, maybe they didn't like each other,
came together.
But it was Quincy Jones, incredible composer, producer.
Yeah.
There was like a sign that said, leave your ego at the door.
I forgot about that part.
And so, yeah, I think just the fact that happened is awesome. And it's a good song. And it's just good uplifting, I think.
What a great moment for people from all over America to come together and sing a song for the world.
Yeah, I mean, people like singing in unison never fails to give me chills. It's just like, we all love this so much that singing is pretty vulnerable if you're not, like Michael Jackson or whatever, because you'd probably be doing it more if you were great at it. So it's like, if you can get everybody to like sing, it's because they're really passionate about something. And even though they all are singers and they do it all the time, it's just cool to hear people together in unison,
collaborate
together. Yeah. Listen to that song. It'll lift your spirits. There's at least one guy on there that you like, that you know. I know that was the 80s. I know that was a long time ago. But I feel like my mom, every time I listen to like a song from the 80s, mom's like, how do you know that? I'm like, the internet, mom.
Yeah. Culture, honestly.
Yeah. I guess like you expect things that are old to like not reach us youngins because we're so tuned into now. But we are everything that came before us.
My parents asked me like, why are you listening to Bob Dylan? Like, because my parents never introduced me to Bob Dylan. But yeah,
that was you on your own.
Oh well, it was me and A Complete Unknown was coming out, and I was like, who's this guy? No, that was great.
It was not bad.
Yeah, I like that movie. I think Timothée Chalamet does a great job.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh no.
I don't even think it's his fault. He's a great actor.
Yeah.
I'm not hating on Timmy. I actually love that guy.
Yeah.
I love Dune 2. I'm so excited for Marty Supreme. But that's Bob Dylan.
Yep.
And then there's Timothée Chalamet. Both so themselves.
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't know. I like Timmy, and I hope we're friends. So I'm not gonna keep. He's great. I can't.
Do you want to be friends with?
I want to be
Chalamet?
friends with Timothy Chalamet
Fair
so
enough.
bad. So I'll save my thoughts when I'm in the room with him, and I can give them to him
Of course.
in a professional,
Yeah.
kind manner.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Constructive.
he's a great actor.
Yeah.
He's great in Dune.
Love Little Women. I watched Little Women the other week. He's great.
I got to see that.
Bro, it's fantastic. Greta Gerwig, fantastic.
I just want to reiterate that I actually really think Timothy Chalamet is like one of the greatest young actors of our time. Also very versatile.
Yes, absolutely.
I think we'd be great friends.
You and Timmy, I agree. I think you guys
Timmy,
have similar vibes.
comment, and we can talk about A Complete Unknown. He sings in it though.
He does.
He's actually very good at the singing.
Honestly, I listen to some of his versions a little bit more than Bob
Yeah,
Dylan's.
I think I think it's dumb trying to replicate Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
It's a dumb concept.
Yeah, because he's
but
his own.
Trying
Mm-hmm.
and making what he made, pretty good.
No, absolutely.
I've 360'd because I realize that this is everywhere. And more than anything, I want to be friends with Timothy Chalamet. Literally just hang out. Literally just like have the number on my phone and be like, "What's up?
Chill sad.
Do you want to grab McDonald's?"
Bro, McDonald's with Timothy Chalamet sounds fire.
So yeah,
Awesome.
one more time before we go.
Yeah.
Timothy Chalamet is so talented.
He's great.
And I'm very excited to see him in the movie Marty Supreme.
What is Marty Supreme?
It is directed by Josh Safdie of the Safdie brothers of
Mhm.
Uncut Gem fame,
Oh,
among
wonderful.
others.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a ping pong player, a table tennis player.
Not Forrest Gump.
No, and he's like nuts,
Awesome.
I guess.
That's exciting.
And it's Timothy Chalamet. He's got a little mustache. He does look great in that
He
movie.
looks great.
Yeah,
Awesome. When is it coming out?
it's a great question.
Mm.
I'll just let myself be surprised.
Wonderful.
But I think that about does it today.
Yeah.
Again, it's a crazy world, and we're just trying to talk about things the way we see them.
Mm-hmm.
Duncan and I are not perfect, and we're not
No.
the smartest people in the world.
No.
But we have stuff on our mind, and the whole point of The Exponent, the whole point of this podcast and the country is to speak your mind. So we thank you for listening,
Mm-hmm.
and we hope that you take something away from this. Truly, we all just want to be loved, and we all just want to love each other. Truly,
Yeah.
I think so. And we just got to let that love in and let it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's equal parts in and out.
Yeah.
And I think we'll be surprised that something seemingly so corny and so childish and naive would do wonders in our world and our society if we just like smile at people and make eye contact and just have good conversations.
Spread kindness.
And again, it might sound silly to you. It kind of is silly, but we live in a
Silly world.
Thank you guys so much for listening to The Root, where we get to the root of the issue. Listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts, and we hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace out.
Bye-bye.